Hey everyone, and welcome to what is most likely the final episode of our Apocalypse World RPG miniseries in this Twilight. Spoiler, it's going to be about 10 minutes because the city's going to fall and kill everyone. So I hope you enjoy it. And I think this week we're going to skip most of the opening session bookkeeping. Everybody will roll their beginning of session moves, but beyond that, we'll jump into the action. So let's bring in our players. All right, so let's start with Amelia. I think you got your two moves, your fortunes and your bone feel.
Yes. Right. Single dice this time. Start with fortune. Hot. And that is 12.
Awesome. So yeah, I think overall you're packing up and getting ready to move and pulling in the remaining people from the little village that was forming outside of the aviary is going extremely well.
Yeah, just kind of talking to everybody, kind of what our game plan is, what direction we're all going to move into, and And I will go ahead and do my bone feel. Don't betray me, please. That's a 10.
Awesome. Yeah, so you get your hold 1 plus 1 forward.
Great.
And next we have Spaz.
All right. So I only roll bone feel, so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I've got some other freaky shit, but I don't have to roll it before game.
What?
5.
All right. So I get a hold 1 to force you into any scene that I want, and you could be trapped or captured or in any sort of predicament.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have any beginning of session moves? I think y'all are the only two. Awesome. So let's jump into, I think we'll jump into what's going on at the aviary. So it'll be Sir and Amelia. So I basically, last session, Amelia had everybody who was a member of her cult/family to essentially bring forward, use frenzy, I believe, and the specific option was, bring forward all the precious things. And so essentially, you're packing up as much of the aviary as possible to do a caravan away from this area, kind of expecting no one to survive. And like I mentioned, because of your good fortunes roll, everybody is super motivated. People from outside of the aviary of the village are extremely willing to come along. And I think in general, people buy into your message that things are going to get really bad here. But they're not falling into despair. They're buying into your the need to leave, but are kind of hopeful that you can lead them to safety. And so we have our map here, kind of south central are the blocks, which is the major city of the region, and to the west of that is the aviary and this unnamed village. So how are you able to transport all this stuff and people away? So, I know you have horses.
Horses, carts. I think some of us would have an automobile or two.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we did bring in people from the blocks. Maybe one of the rats, while they're acquired one.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a bit more than just horses. Probably not in the best condition of automobiles, but
for sure,
something to get us going for a good while.
Yep, it's the Oregon Trail. It's funny, is I was definitely thinking the Oregon Trail when I was thinking about how this part of the session will play out. I'm also sort of interested in what's going on with Sir. Because Amelia wants everybody to pack up and go. And Sir, you obviously have your entire life is back in the blocks. Particularly like with your club. Your relationship with King is kind of an open question mark. So like what's going through Sir's head right now?
I mean, right now he's just concerned with helping Amelia out for the time being, and he's torn on whether he wants to go back to the blocks and go to his club, which is apparently now safe, or if he wants to leave with Amelia, knowing what she has told him, and he trusts her that the tower's falling, and he's like, I don't know, because he doesn't want to leave his people behind, so he's just torn, trying to decide, and then helping her out.
Is this something that's like you're kind of keeping hidden, or is it kind of like, are you an open book here?
He's probably an open book around Amelia. Maybe around other people, he's a bit more like stone-faced, like don't let anyone know what you're thinking. But if she's around him, then she could probably pick up that he's feeling conflicted or that something's bothering him.
So I actually think Josh picks up on this as well, and he comes up to you and he's like, hey, sir, I could really see it in your face, like you're conflicted. I know you have a life back in the blocks, and you're not the only one. I'm feeling kind of similarly too. Like, I love Amelia and our family, and this all means the world to me. But I have a sister back there, and I don't know if I could just leave. I know you have a life back there too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. Possible impending doom unless our friends pull through. Now I'm a little concerned. Apparently, it's safe back in the blocks now, so I'm not really sure what to believe anymore. My entire life is back there, and I'm not sure if I should go with Amelia and, try and stay safe, or if I should just go back and hope that our friends pull through.
Yeah. I just want to say that, I know Amelia would be disappointed for you not to come. And I don't even know if it's like, I don't know what the right option is here, but if you did go back, I would understand.
Yeah, well, I'll still think about it. Maybe I'll talk to Amelia before everything actually goes.
And Josh, kind of nods and puts a hand on your shoulder before walking away.
Am I able to walk up on this conversation and catch him right before he leaves?
I think it's 100% possible. It's also possible you're overhearing it.
I think I overheard like the tail end of it, especially when Josh brings up his sister. Mm-hmm. And as he's walking away, I kind of catch him by his wrist.
I think he's a little, maybe shocked is too strong of a word, but I think definitely grabbing him by the wrists, he sends a message.
It's very softly. It's not firm, but kind of to catch his attention.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I think he is like a little like, oh. And then he's kind of like, it kind of like that initial shock washes over. And he's like, oh, Amelia.
Sorry.
It seems like the packing up is going really well.
That's not what I'm here to talk about.
Oh. What are you here to talk about?
You don't have to come with us. I overheard.
I
You've done so much work here. And I take his hands if he'll allow me. And I hold them. You have real family. And I'm not saying what we have here isn't real. But you've done so much for us. There's no reason that you can't do this for yourself.
I know. But if you're right, then you don't have time.
if I'm right, and I know that I am, if Escalade and Spaz cannot stop this, and I lower my voice to where not even Sir can hear me, there's a chance that we could still get hit by the fallout before we get out of Dodge. So, if that's the case, and I don't know if it is, wouldn't you rather see your family for the last time and be with her?
I'm trying to think of like the appropriate response. That's not.
I mean, being stunned is like a good response.
That doing what?
Like being shocked into silence can be a good response sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Josh has been with us for so long and has given up so much of himself. I think that he would struggle doing something for himself.
Yeah, so he's like, I was like, yeah, I know I've given so much here, and it may seem like this is a decision about doing something for myself or doing something for others, but I don't feel that. I feel like there's no right answer. I feel like that no matter what I choose, that it's like it could go well or it could go poorly. I don't even know. Like, yeah, maybe I go back to the blocks and I see my sister one last time, and then we all die, and it's like, what have I gained then?
Or you come with us and you die. What do you gain then?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know.
You don't win either way. What would... And she kind of looks up and off for a minute before calming herself. What would Lily tell you to do? I feel wrong leaving too. With how she passed. I don't want to leave the aviary.
The aviary is just a place. This is family.
And there's family in the blocks.
No.
I have friends in there now.
I'd already sent a letter to my sister. I hope it gets to her, telling her to get out.
And I kind of look at Sir. Did you say the blocks are safe?
Yeah, that's what Brewster told me. He seemed pretty convinced that they were. I don't necessarily have any reason to doubt him. I mean, I'm very confused, but...
When we were leaving, you remember that thing that we saw? And I'm referring to Toby and Giggles.
Yeah.
Right. You were seeing weird stuff, right? Could that have spread throughout the blocks? Maybe he's not in his right mind, Brewster.
I don't know. I mean, I was exposed, right? Me and Spats were both exposed to like that vial or whatever that was in that briefcase when they were doing the job. I don't know if somehow everyone else also...
I mean, there was an entire briefcase.
Yeah, but who had it then would be the question, and how did it, explode into everyone else?
We never recovered it after the Toby incident.
Well, that's true, and from what I saw with Spaz and the weird place, they're tiny little things. I guess it's possible, but...
He did say that something was opening, a portal.
I don't know. It's hard to say with that one, They say a lot of things. Some true, some not, some just to annoy you and make you wish that you couldn't hear.
I'd like to try and open my mind to the maelstrom.
Mm-hmm.
And see if I can just grasp at the city.
Go for it.
Seven total.
So partial success, yeah, MC gives you an impression on a partial success. So you weren't there when Spaz went into the Maelstrom and saw the Black Sea, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So I think you see yourself standing on that like open like landscape that you saw when everybody went through the Maelstrom on Baz's bike.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you see the blocks, and off in the horizon you see like it looks like a tidal wave of that black ocean washing over the blocks. And it kind of like it's like rushing from the horizon through the blocks, and then right before it hits you, you snap back to reality.
Mila just kind of like takes a large like gasp of air for a minute, and steadies herself on Sir's shoulder. I think he was wrong. There's more going on there than we think. And I kind of glance back at Josh. I don't know if we're safe out here, but I definitely know that we're not safe inside.
I'm gonna go to Lily's grave. Just take a moment.
I'm gonna give him a quick hug before he goes.
And he gives you, like a hard squeeze, and then takes a step back with, both hands on either shoulder. Gives you like a warm half smile, and then leaves.
Well, not safe out there, not safe here, not safe back in the blocks. I don't know if I'm really safe anyway.
I'm gonna look at Sir. I fucking love that man, and god damn it, he cannot pick up any hints. I have been in love with him since day fucking one.
I know he's probably a little dense. I've tried laying some moves on
him. A little? I invited him to my room once and he did not. Let's go.
Just mentally, the entire game, I pictured Josh as gay.
Ah!
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
But he still would pick up what Sir was laying down.
Amelia is in love with a gay man. He does not reciprocate her feeling. But she was in love with like both Josh and Lily, like little polycule. She was in love with both of them.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe confessing before he left would have been.
No, what if he wasn't into it? I don't want to leave on that bad note. What if we live? Best case scenario, we die. Embarrassment. Worst case, we live. In embarrassment. I'm not doing that, man.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. So you still plan to leave?
Yeah. Yeah. She's just half laughing to herself. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna leave. What about you?
Well, we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. I think I'm gonna go back to the blocks. I mean, it's my home, where I, established myself and a business that I love and the people in it I love. I mean, I love you too, obviously, but...
Oh, yeah, of course.
You have your thing going, I have my thing going, and if I'm gonna go, I guess I'd rather it be,
Where you
I mean, I don't know if we've really had sea pirates for a while, but, the saying, the captain goes down with his ship, I think...
Speaking of ship, I saw, like, water flooding in the like, Black Sea water. I don't know. I went to that weird place again.
Oh, well, I think I know what that means, which means the blocks is not really the blocks we once knew, but don't know. I think I have to go back.
I think you do too.
I suppose this is probably, well, if our friends manage to make it, I suppose we'll meet again. You have a radio still, I have one. You know, we can still contact each other.
Call me if you need me and I will be there. I just need a single word and I will be there.
I mean, same goes for you. If you need me, you know where to find me. You know how to call me.
No, but I will literally be there. Don't question it, but I will show up immediately. Don't.
Yeah,
I'll know.
At this point, I don't know if there's much I would question. It's been a weird while.
Goodbye.
Well, I guess I should let you get going. And he's just gonna give her a little kiss on the lips.
She's gonna reciprocate it and just pull you in by your waist for a minute. Go get him.
I wish you the best. You know? I know you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Well, until the next time. He's just gonna give her chest a little squeeze.
She's just gonna bust out laughing. I'll either see you next time or I'll see you in the afterlife.
Yeah. You know, we will obviously meet again.
We will meet again, and time eats all of his children in the end. So.
I'm not sure I've
So
heard that
lame.
saying before, but all right. Well, I'll be on my way then.
You've said that 5 times, and she's gonna
Terrible at
remove
goodbye.
your hand from her chest. Are you good now? Are you sure you're going?
Yeah, he's gonna remove his hands and be like, yes, okay.
She's gonna try and take a step back, seeing if you step forward.
He's gonna pretend to step forward but not actually do it. She's like, no, okay, for real now. I'm bad at goodbyes. I don't like saying goodbye to people.
She's gonna just kind of mess with your hair, kiss you on the forehead, and then walk back off to her flock.
Yep, he's gonna turn around and walk away and not look back, and if he can catch up to Josh, he's doing that.
Knock, knock.
Josh isn't heading towards the blocks. Josh has gone to Lily's grave, which is just outside the apiary. If that makes sense.
Sorry,
All right. You said you were trying to catch up with Josh, and I said Josh wasn't walking towards the blocks. He was walking to Lily's grave.
Okay.
All right. So let's jump over to Escalade and Spaz, the would-be heroes of the hour. So last session, y'all made it to Sir's club, where the pod was still on top of the roof. And I believe you pulled the robot that was inside out. You both got in. I assume you took the battery that was in the rifle that Escalade had to put it in the vehicle.
That
And
we did.
how are y'all planning to get to the, or how are you planning to drive this vehicle?
I was hoping they had an autopilot button, because did it get an autopilot before?
I mean, you're staring at this it's almost like that's like a digital screen. So there are no actual buttons, and you just see some basic controls, and there's a whole set of menus and stuff you could try crawling through, but you're not really sure where.
I think he's gonna try to remember what Amelia pressed last time when they took off, and hopefully he gets it right.
All right, so This is probably acting under fire. Where the fire is, you remember incorrectly.
Okay, that's not too bad. I rolled a 9 and I got +2. So.
All right, full success. Yeah, so you remember how to go through the menus and hit the button, and the pod like gently lifts off the ground and starts flying more or less straight up in the air towards the flying tower. And after about 30 minutes or so, you're getting close to the landing bay, and you see one of the silvered, like right on the edge, waving what looks to be like a white flag.
I'll look as fast. Why don't you roll down the window and tell them we come in peace?
I think that does mean peace. I look, and there's no way to roll down no windows, is there?
Not that you can tell.
It's a pod.
It's a pretty solid, yeah.
So heads up, there's no windows, by the way.
That's fine. Let's just get this over with.
Yeah, we need to hurry up.
And I think what you notice, or what y'all have noticed as you've flown in these, is that before getting into the outside, it looks like completely opaque. Kind of like, maybe like kind of a clean off-white, not quite metallic, not quite plastic sheen to it. And once you get inside, there's kind of a band, sort of eye level around the whole shape that becomes transparent, so that you can see outside. So you continue flying towards the landing bay, and this person, as you get a little closer, you see what appears to be like kind of a woman who's probably, mid-20s or so, as like she's like waving this like white cloth like more and more frantically, and kind of steps out of the way as the vehicle like automatically pulls into the bay and lands. And you see her like kind of slowly walking towards the vehicle. What are y'all doing?
Just getting out of the vehicle, approaching her, see what she says.
Yep. You get out of the vehicle, and essentially like there are no lights internal that are on in the tower itself. The only light is coming from the giant window of this landing bay to the outside. And she like slowly approaches you, and you can kind of like, you get a better look at her, and you can kind of see she has a kind of gaunt face. And you see like around her lips is like, it's like dried and peeling.
Jesus.
She kind of like weakly is like, finally someone's here. And then like she pauses for a second, getting a look at you, and she's like, oh, I don't recognize either of you. You're not silvered, are you?
It's all right, we're here to fix things.
We're friends of Amelia. We're coming to land this ship so people don't die.
And it's possible, like, or actually probably Spaz, you probably have a flask like on your belt or somewhere visible.
Yeah, I've got.
And her eyes like immediately like look down, and you notice that at this point she looks over away like into the tower, and you kind of look over too, like following her eyes, and you see like a mass of about 20 people kind of huddled on the floor. And then she kind of turns and looks back at you and kind of leans in, and she's like, please, I'm so thirsty.
Oh, okay. Well, get ready for a ride. Spaz takes off his canteen that's strapped to his shoulder. And I think you should just sip it.
You hand it to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she like just grabs it and is like kind of fumbles out the lid to the canteen, and she absolutely does not sip it. I mean, she takes a big gulp and then, but I think she kind of gags because like when she realizes it isn't water,
Mm-hmm.
and just makes this like, oh God.
Yep, you're gonna need what I'm wearing right now.
And then she like, but I think it's like this instinct of like, you know, she's like extremely dehydrated, and she instantly just takes another big gulp and like has a very similar reaction. But then like at this point she like hands it back to you, like her the instinct to drink it has like finally given way to like her realizing this is probably not good for her. And you can like see her like pupils go wide.
Yeah, that should calm you down too. So where's your engine room?
She just kind of gives you a blank stare and she's like, engine room?
Let's see here how to phrase this correctly. Where all the mechanical dummies go.
And you notice this like huddle, or what were a huddled mass of 20 people. They've like stood up and are kind of coming towards you at this point as they've kind of like noticed this like interaction taking place.
Okay, Escalade.
Just follow me, and I'm gonna start running for where the room is.
Okay, I'll follow.
All right. So this is a charged situation. How are y'all at this point? The mass of people are kind of scrambling to intercept you. How are you avoiding this?
I still have my canteen. I kiss it. All right, baby. Do us good. And as we're running, I throw it back and say, don't drink too much or you'll get the hot shits.
All right. I will say this is acting under fire. The fire is you don't throw the canteen in a good direction.
Oh, okay. Oh. And
Oh.
I don't think I even need my advantage that was given to me by Chinomancer. So I rolled a 10.
Awesome. Is there a particular direction you want to throw it?
Away from us. So like if we're running this way and they're like brains.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like throw it like down here, so they'll go like brains. So instead of
presumably not off out of the bay.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So
yeah, so you kind of throw it back the other way off to the side, and like you see all of their heads just like swivel that direction, and they start shambling that direction with all of the strength that they have. And you easily make it to the elevator shaft and start making your way inside.
As we're going down, I look at Escalade. I think I killed those people.
Then we're gonna die anyways. You if anything, you took mercy on them.
Well, you know, they're gonna get high, they're gonna get wonderful, then they're gonna have extreme diarrhea, which will dehydrate them more and basically kill them.
I don't want to think about that, but thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, no problem. But, you know, they'll be wonderful in their heads. That's what counts.
So,
True.
Obviously Escalade knows why things are like this. Spaz, this is your first time to the Silver Tower. Like, is it not sort of shocking at all that, like, the very first Silvered ones you've met, you know, that aren't, say, Roland, outside of the tower, are basically, like, barely hanging on to life?
At this stage and juncture, Spaz is in a different plane of existence, I think. He's seen some shit. He knows some shit. And people have become just objects to him now, really. I mean, it's just a means to an end, you know? So
it's just a lot of broken things.
Yeah,
in a broken world.
Yeah, I mean, if he can fix it, awesome. If he can't, then, you know, so be it. So,
all right.
And
all right.
I think he is odd for the fact that he's actually here. And if he can fix it, that will be the greatest achievement that he has not so much ever done, but is one of the top 5 at least. So
I'm sort of curious what the other 4 are, but all right, Escalade, you're leading the way down the shaft of this elevator.
As we're going down, you hear Spaz going do 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 do.
So, I mean, the other thing too is like there are no lights in the tower.
I got one in my rifle, but that's about it.
So it's kind of like what I'm picturing is like, Escalade's going first, and like Spaz, all you can see as you're climbing down this shaft is like Escalade has this rifle that's like over his shoulder, and it's kind of like bouncing, you know, as he's climbing down. So you just see this like narrow cone of light bouncing around below you in this otherwise like pitch black shaft.
And it echoes though, right?
I think occasionally it probably would hit like the ladder or the wall.
Our voices echo, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Spaz is just definitely going do 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 as we're going down. We're going down, right? Not up.
You are going down for sure.
Okay. So, how much further?
We're almost there.
Okay. What did it look like when you were there last time? Or were you there last time? I would assume that you were there last time.
I was there last time. There was the room with the power source and all the little gadgets. I'll show you.
Okay, so there was gadgets.
Yeah, it was just most of the batteries are empty pretty much, and the reactor, yeah, it's power.
Okay. Do 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 do.
All right, so you eventually get to the bottom of the shaft, and Escalade, what are you doing?
I guess waiting for it to get down so we can approach it, because the thing is, like, last time I was here, I had Amelia, so if anything happened, I just said I was her assistant. I don't know, since I left, if the robots that are still left are going to be aggressive, or what the hell's going on, so I'll be a little careful.
So both of you get down to the bottom of the shaft, and I assume step out into this like engine section.
Yeah.
So you step out, and essentially the both of you can only really see so far in front of you, and it's basically you kind of see this just like long catwalk stretching out into this like giant open room. It's like Escalade, if you shine your light like not on what's immediately in front of you, it's just like wide open space. And if you try to shine it like towards like the middle of the space, it's like you could maybe like see like a faint reflection of light off of what you assume is the reactor in the middle of the room, but it's like it's pretty far away and it's hard to pick out. And I think what happens is that as Spaz is singing the song, You hear someone shouting out, and it's kind of hard to make out the direction. Is like, who goes there?
You first.
No, you first.
Maintenance?
No, you first.
Maintenance. You don't sound like one of the robots.
We're here to land the ship.
Land the ship?
Yeah, this thing is not gonna make it. It's running out of juice.
Yeah, I could tell that. But again, who are you?
Housekeeping?
I just want to say I'm Amelia's assistant.
You want them towels?
I know you're not, you don't sound like you're from here. You're not one of us.
Obviously we're not. I just told you I was Amelia's assistant. Now, come out.
No, I see right where you are. You're here to steal our stuff.
We don't care about your stuff. If this thing crashes, it's gonna kill a lot of people. If we can land it, that would be more preferable. Do you agree?
So it sounds like you are trying to manipulate them. So essentially you're trying to like convince them that you're here to help, even though you obviously are not a silvered one.
Yes.
So essentially what you want them to you want them to trust you.
Yeah.
To trust that you're actually here to help and not here to just like steal their shit.
Yeah, I want them to trust me and let me land this shit. If not, bad things will happen.
All right. So that would be a plus hot roll.
So
And
I got 9, so I got a +1.
You got a
What's up?
So did you roll a 9 or a 10?
I roll a 9, but with my +1 is a 10.
Oh, okay, never mind.
All right. So NPCs on a 10 plus, they'll go along with you unless or until some fact or action betrays the reason you gave them. So like, fuck. All right. Okay? You don't sound like you're here to steal stuff. I mean, how are you here anyway? Like, how would you know about this?
You don't know who Amelia is?
I know.
Okay, well, I came with her before. She had one of those flying ships, and we were trying to figure out how to land the ship, but we didn't have enough power. Obviously, we don't have enough power, but we do have some power that we might be able to land it. If not, regardless, this thing is gonna fall. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all I know is like a week or so back, the lights went out and the food and water was gone.
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
There's some water up top.
I actually had some on me that I didn't have to get from the tower itself.
Oh, good.
Others are not so lucky.
Yeah, you don't want that water anyway. That's up top.
Why don't you help us so we have a better chance?
And yeah, he walks up and you see he's wearing some sort of like goggles that are they're like goggles. Oh, they're sort of like goggles that seems like he can see in the dark. And he's like, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know how any of this works. I mean,
don't worry about it. I got
all
it
the
covered.
lights are out except there's the wall where the batteries are, because there's a sign saying they're batteries. But I think they're all except for one are out.
take me to what you see, and I'll deal with the rest.
Okay, yeah. And he kind of leads you towards the middle. And Escalade, you kind of recognize this is where the reactor is. And as you get closer, like your flashlight, you can see where the reactor that's off is. You see the wall of batteries. And so, yeah, Spaz, you see this wall of batteries, and a few of the slots are empty. And there's one, and they're also like, they're like kind of sorted into like columns, like little signs that say like life support, lights, engines, etc. And the only battery that seems to have any juice are going to the engines.
Okay. I want to look around, and there was that robot that we took out. I want to see if there's any more and see what their power level is, even if it's like 1%. I want to try to link everything together to give a little bit more juice, enough so that we can like manage to fly this thing safely.
So you don't see any of the robots down here, but you didn't see any batteries on the robot that you took out of the pod before you came up.
Okay.
But assuming you took the battery out of the pod, you do have that battery.
Okay. Yep, I do. So, I think I'm going to try to plug it all in and try to make everything work. Not everything work, but enough juice to get us, somewhat safe to the ground.
So are you saying you're adding a second battery to the engine bank?
Yeah, to the engine bank itself. So, yeah.
So yeah, the battery makes a sort of faint hum when you plug it in, but you don't feel sort of any change into the feel of the ship.
Okay. Well, for now, this is the best I can do until I figure out something else.
Okay.
You guys don't happen to have a manual or something for this thing, do you?
I mean, all of our computers are offline, and he pulls out a little like plastic. It almost looks like a plastic rectangle, sort of similar to what Roland had, and he's like, "It's off. Can't do anything."
Is there any levers we could hit to, try to slow this thing down? Anything.
What are you doing?
Is there any levers? Because he was saying the computer was down, so.
Levers that would do what?
I don't know, maybe to emergency land this shit.
How well does this guy look?
He looks better than the ones you saw in the landing bay.
All right.
He doesn't look great. He doesn't look like he's eaten a lot lately, but...
So is the reactor off or is it on?
Reactor is off.
Spaz, why don't you try to put the battery to the reactor? Maybe the computers will come back on.
I have another idea. Do you have an exercise room?
I mean, we have various exercise facilities and the
Okay.
dispersed in the living areas.
I need a bicycle.
Bicycle?
Yeah, you sit down on it and you pedal.
Oh.
I'll call it probably something else.
Is.
Take me to the exercise place and let me see what y'all got.
All right. Well, So he says like, yeah, well, we have to climb back up through the shaft to get to the landing bay. And then there's another elevator, well, shaft, because obviously elevators are not working, to get up to living quarters.
How long is that going to take?
It's a little ways.
I look down. How much juice do we got?
Escalade, you know that like this battery, the one battery you left, it looks, as best as you can tell, about the same sliver of power left.
Yeah, we don't got a lot of time, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I was just hoping. Okay, so I undo it and rehook it back up to the reactor and have, working power enough to see the controls and this, that, and the other.
So if you want lights, you would probably want to plug the second battery into the light.
Okay. Well, I want the, the console stuff to work where you can actually operate buttons and this, that, and the other. So that's basically what I'm plugging it into.
Yeah, so yeah, you plug it into that, and I think the lights in this area kind of come on, and you see it's like this enormous sort of cavernous space, with kind of obviously pillars interspersed out holding up the floors above. And yeah, you see the very middle is this large reactor that there's some sort of controls on the outside. In the middle of it is this just giant tube that's you can kind of see through, but nothing's going on. And
does it look like I can reactivate it?
So yeah, you walk up to the reactor, and yeah, you see a bunch of strange controls.
I think I'm going to use things that speak.
All right, give us things speak.
And well, I don't think that even matters.
What's that?
Okay, even with I'm not even going to take that advantage because it's pointless. So I rolled a 3. Oh, no, I keep on forgetting to ask. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm going to take that advantage from Genomancer.
So you had 3 plus 3 plus 1?
Yes, so 7.
All right, you get to ask 1.
What's wrong with this and how may I fix it?
Yeah, so I think what you see is you see the reactor as a starving old man, sitting in a rocking chair in a nursing home, and it's kind of rocking back and forth, and looks like it hasn't eaten a meal in many, many months.
All right, old man. I'm gonna get you some prune juice or something. Get you some pep in your step. And do I know do I have enough juice to give him? Or am I totally out of juice that far as I know?
So you've never seen a reactor like this. This is something far beyond anything you've seen outside of the tower. So it's it doesn't look like a coal reactor. It doesn't look like it burns wood, or gas or anything like that. It doesn't look like a combustion engine. You see it seems like some sort of container you can see into, and you see interspersed around it, and it's almost like Well, you see like these what you think are very large magnets of some type. You think you see some sort of like lasers that you've seen before, but it seems like some sort of complex machinery you've never seen before.
Okay. Does someone walk around it and see if there's an outlet that it may have, like something to like plug it into, or something to like, you know?
It looks like it is a it looks like it is connected to the bank of batteries.
Okay.
And like you're pretty sure that it's like part of its power output charges the batteries.
Okay. All right, we just need more juice.
I think as far as like juice is concerned, I think what you gather is it eats that you gather that it like it eats something called antimatter. And that somehow it can take this antimatter and then takes matter and combines them together to create enormous amounts of energy. You also realize that it can take enormous amounts of energy and also create this matter and antimatter. The problem here is the enormous amounts of energy part.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of get the sense from when you see this like starving old man is like, it's like a voraciousness that you have never experienced before.
I think I can't do that because I'm not in my workspace. Arrangement of components. I want to just try, because I am around stuff that I'm used to being, used to at least somewhat being used to as far as fixing stuff and gadgets and whatnot. And lately I've been talking to things. I'm going to try Reality's Fraying Edge.
All right, some component of your workspace or some arrangement of components is uniquely receptive to the world psychic maelstrom for augury. I think the problem here is like you're not in your workspace.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the guy who's one of the silvered ones, I think he'll be like trying to think of a good silvered one name. I think he says like I'm Tobias. Nice to meet you. And he's like holding out his hand to you, Spaz.
Yep, nice to meet you too. And I just reach over.
Hey, do you know what's wrong with this? And he kind of like gestures at the reactor, like obviously like he isn't quite sure what it even is.
So the old man is really tired and he needs some juice.
Old man.
Yeah. And like
what does the old man do?
Well, he kind of powers everything. So he gets up and just go like old man does. But he runs out really quick, so he gets tired. Right now he's super hungry and tired, so which is bad.
Oh, I see.
So we need to feed him.
What does he eat?
See those batteries? They're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that shit.
He eats the batteries.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is that we could rig something up where we just jump on it and like go, and it powers the batteries, and the batteries will eat, let the old man eat, and then, you know, everything will be somewhat okay. Not really, but, you know, enough so that we're like, oh, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Sure. Yeah, I get you. And
So,
he totally doesn't get you.
Look around for conveyor belts and anything of that nature.
What are you expecting the conveyor belts are for?
I want to create a treadmill.
I'm gonna create a treadmill. So I think the basic setup in this place is that there's this large reactor in the middle, the giant bank of batteries, and going off in 8 different directions. Well, say 9 different directions are these kind of catwalks.
Okay.
The 8 ones are like kind of like the cardinal directions, and then like the quarter directions between those. And the 9th one goes back to the elevator shaft.
Okay. And
if you look, you see like, looks like all this kind of like cabling running underneath the catwalks.
Yeah, I start stripping what I need to and start building a makeshift treadmill thing. And I'm going to do manual power to at least try to charge the batteries as best as we can. So at least one battery or something, enough to give it some kind of juice to at least have, you know, operational pushy buttons work and things of that nature.
I do think you realize that the scale of power is like essentially like you're talking about like human power, and then like many orders of magnitude above that are like power from lightning, and then many orders of power to, you know, magnitude above that are like what this reactor generates. Though you're pretty sure just looking at the wall of batteries and how much little power they have, it seems like the engines, like, they require a lot of power, but they don't require like the full output of this reactor's power.
And there's no way to pilot this thing without the reactor on.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily true. So, you know, like the engines are running.
Okay.
So you could probably put together that like the reactor must have been off for some time, which is why these batteries are so low.
Okay.
And it's like essentially think of it as like the tower has been operating on this backup power. And because the reactor is not online, that like eventually it's going to run out of juice.
But there's no way to pilot the ship without the reactor on.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
Okay. So I'm gonna look for a way to pilot the ship without the reactor and also have us enough juice for the engines to run. And if it absolutely means me cutting the cable to the reactor, then I will do so.
Okay. So what is your approach for figuring this stuff out?
I think I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna open my brain.
All right, open your brain.
And just kind of, you know, do the whole Sherlock Holmes,
the Mind Palace thing.
Yeah, and the Einstein, whatever, you know, and seeing the figures and the numbers and all the math and. So I need to roll weird.
Plus weird.
Okay.
Escalade in chat points out it's kind of weird that the man wearing a unicorn helmet and a diaper is going to save us.
So I rolled. Let's see here, and I'm going to use the give advantage to anyone by Shadow Soldier PR because I rolled an 8 and now I have a 9.
All right, a 9 is still a partial success. So just like earlier with Amelia, you get I give you an impression.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to think of like how would the Maelstrom phrase this? So I think what you see are like that you see this like bank of batteries as like a faint buzz of electricity kind of trapped into this confined space, and you see it kind of connected, like there's a line of electricity flowing to the center of this room, and it's almost like there's a hole where the reactor is, but this like bit of electricity kind of goes up to it, and then you see electricity shooting out in these 8 directions out to the edges of the entire tower. And those I can't remember what they're called. They're like balls where they have the little almost like an antenna in the middle with the like sparks of like lightning going to the edge, and you can kind of touch it. I think it's sort of looks like each of these like 8 things around the edge of the ship sort of look like that, of like electricity kind of shooting, kind of floating around the edges. And you notice one of them has like a little spot in it where instead of kind of floating around the room, it's just like a piece of electricity kind of stuck to one point in the wall.
I'm gonna go over there and try to fix that.
All right. First, I think we should jump over to Sir to see what he's up to. So, Philo, Sir?
Hi.
There we go. So, sir, you've made your way back to the blocks, and you basically end up at the checkpoint, and there's a guard waiting inside, and they're just like, "Welcome back, sir."
Hi.
I hope you've been having a good time outside of the blocks.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get a change of scenery.
Well, please go on in.
Yeah, sure thing. Good work.
And as you're walking out, he's just like, "I'm sure Brewster and King will be happy to see you."
Yep, I'm sure that you will.
And you keep on walking.
Yep.
Yeah, you as you get into the city, it seems kind of it's definitely not a bustling day. You don't see many people out and about. Are you heading straight to your club?
Yeah.
Yeah, you make your way through the city, go down the main market street, and head off towards the alley back to your club, and you barely see anybody out. Heading up to the door of your club, pull out your keys, walk inside, and yeah, Brewster peeks out from the kitchen. Like, "Hey, boss, how's it going?"
Hey. Oh, it's going great. How's it going with you?
Not too bad. Life's pretty good these days.
Yeah, is it? Since when?
I don't know. Past week or so, things are finally quiet.
Yeah, a little too quiet, isn't it? I mean, I've barely even seen anyone outside.
Oh, well, I think after the attack and everything, and like people got all paranoid. Yeah, I don't know. I think things are finally settling down.
I wonder why that is.
Well, I mean, don't you think it's traumatic to be attacked? I think people
Well,
just needed a little time to
Well, yes,
process what was going on.
I thought it was just like a few days ago that, there was threat of a tower falling on us, but everyone seems to have forgotten about that one.
Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know. Hasn't fallen yet. I'm not even sure if it'll ever fall. How do we know it's
Well,
actually gonna fall? It's been up there as long as I've been alive. Why would it
I
fall
mean-
now?
That's true, but there's always a chance of it falling. I mean, look at us. The block was peaceful for so long, and then there was an attack, right? You never know what might happen.
I mean, I guess. I mean, do you think the sun's gonna rise tomorrow? Always a chance it doesn't. But do any of us worry about that? I don't think so.
Well, suppose that's true. Some people don't seem to worry much at all. Not sure if that's always the most wise, but,
I mean, do you worry about the sun not rising tomorrow?
No, though I don't know I'd be particularly bothered if it didn't. I mean, we do primarily operate when the sun is down anyway.
I mean, true, but all of these like plants and herbs and stuff we need to make our booze and drugs kind of need the sun. Probably be really cold without the sun too. But, I'm
True.
no scientist. What do I know? I just make the drugs.
I feel like having strange these days. Strange liquids. Strange drugs that ain't been around that I'm not aware of.
Just the usual stuff. Why are you having visions again?
No, I think I'm finally clear of that illness. I've been feeling a lot better recently.
I see.
I'm gonna go up and give him a big ol' hug, but I'm gonna like sniff him as I do it.
So you're sniffing him. What are you expecting to smell?
I don't know, like anything odd that doesn't smell like our establishment normally smells.
I mean, I think you smell the like. I mean, because he's Brewster. He brews all kinds of alcohols, and he's like cooking up various drugs, and I think like you smell that on him. And he's just like, everything okay, boss?
Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, I just feel like it's been a couple days since I've seen you, so do a little hug. Make sure you're doing good. You seem a little thin. Have you been eating?
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't think I've lost any
Seems
weight.
like you've lost some weight.
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe it's just me.
And I think you hear from another room. You hear, "Sir, is that you?" You hear King.
Well, hey there, stranger.
I thought you must have run away.
No, I would never run away and leave this place. This is my home.
Of
I pride
course,
and joy.
but you haven't been in your home for a while. It's just a little worried. That's all.
Yeah, well, remember, I wasn't feeling the best. I was trying to get rid of that illness, and it seems that I have.
Well, it's always good to have you back.
Always
So
good
I
to be
will,
back.
I think one thing that kind of stands out for both of them to you is that when you mentioned that this like illness and that you seem to have gotten over it, neither of them are like, oh, that's really good. I'm glad you're doing better. They just kind of glide over that part. Well, at least you're back here with us again.
Yeah, and how are you feeling these days?
Good. It was a little hairy there for a bit, you know, after the attack and all. But you know, things. I feel like the tensions have eased a bit. That's it's good.
Yes, it is indeed. Well, King, it's been a while since we've had some fun together. What do you think?
Well, I think everybody would be good to have you back tonight, running the club.
Well, yes, but I'm not
Good.
talking about the club. I'm talking about us. Right now, you know, I've been a little lonely recently.
Oh, I see. I mean, I was talking about us and the good times in the club, but if you need a little alone time with the king, you know, I understand.
Yeah, I think I would like that very much.
Are you leading him to, like, back to your room?
I'm leading him to one of the special playrooms.
Okay. So yeah, he follows you. So you go in, he like follows in behind you and closes the door. He's like, oh, well, what did you have in mind?
Well, I know I usually like to let you be in charge, but I think today I kind of fancy being the one in charge, you know?
Yeah, I think he's kind of standing there. You know the like that like cowboy like thumbs through the belt loop kind of thing, like stance. He's just kind of standing there, and he's kind of got a bit of a smile on his face. And he's like, "All right."
Wonderful. Please strip for me.
And he kind of gives a little laugh and like, you know, takes his hat off, you know, puts it on a like dresser, like whatever's in the room, and starts pulling his coat off and stuff. And he's disrobing for you.
So Trainer Riley removed. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And now he's like,
Cool.
yeah, he's standing naked in front of you, and he's like, "What's next, boss?"
Why don't you lay on the bed for me?
He gets on the bed.
I'm going to tie him up with some of the rope.
Yeah. And he's like more than happy to go along.
Now, what do you think we should do? What should I do with you today?
And he's like, "Oh, I think this is Thursday. You're in charge."
True, I am in charge. I am going to grab him under the belt area.
Okay.
You know, give him a little pleasure first.
All right.
I think he's just going to look at the walls. I think we should have some fun with some of these toys.
He's, yeah, going along with it.
I'm going to take one of the little electrocutey ones, and I'm going to turn it up halfway and place it, like, on his chest.
Yeah, I think you zap him, and he's like, I think he kind of like screams a bit. It's like, "Ow, that hurts."
Well, I mean, that is the
Gee.
point.
I think he's
Good.
looking back at you a little confused.
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more and kind of do it again.
You shock him again, and he's like, well, what's going on here?
No, no, you know what the safe word is.
What is the safe word? By the way.
Twilight.
He'll say Twilight.
Huh. I feel like he used to be able to handle a lot more pain than this.
He's like, never been electrocuted by you before.
No, true. I guess this is my first time doing it to you. How does he look? Does he seem like it was affecting him in a weird way?
You could read a person. Which is roll plus sharp.
Five.
Just a 5?
Yep.
So on a misc, ask one anyway, but be prepared for the worst. So I think what happens is that like you feel this weird buzzing at the edge of your perception, and the door to the room comes like flying open, and Toby's standing there with like a hood pulled over kind of his head, but you can see his face. Like, look what we got here. Someone returning to the fold, I see.
Don't you know it's rude to enter without knocking?
Rude as you thought you could get rid of me.
I don't think
But
I
here
ever
you
said.
are.
Yes, but here you are. I thought you died in the attack.
Maybe I did.
But yet here you are.
And yet here I am. So what are you gonna do about it, sir?
I'm gonna turn up the electric thing to full and I'm gonna attack him.
Attack Toby?
Yep.
Go for it.
Like 5
Actually,
again.
let me... I'm actually curious what I like. It's a cattle prod?
I guess.
I'm just like, I don't even know what kind of weapon that would be. But so you're basically doing battle. Are you doing, so I guess this is, here's the question, is like, are you trying to hurt Toby, like you're fighting him? Or are you trying to get something out of him?
I mean, trying to get the like, see if he has like little nano things in him. That's why I'm using the electricity to attack.
So, I mean, I'll interpret that as like you're trying to hurt him to see what would happen. So I don't think he is unsuspecting or helpless, so it wouldn't be suckering him. But so so I think this would be exchanging harm. So let me try to figure out an appropriate weapon for a cattle prod. So stun gun is S harm, hand reload with. So S harm is not considered normal harm. So yeah, I think what happens is like you hit Toby with the cattle prod. And so I think what happens is like you hear this like loud like inhuman screech, and you kind of like lunged at him like sort of straight to the chest, and you see like the space like where you hit him is like this like black kind of like, it's almost like liquid but almost like sand like pour away from like where you hit him, and you hear this like inhuman almost electronic squeal, not just coming from his mouth and all around. And both you hear Brewster and King scream when you hit Toby. But in retaliation, Toby has a cane, and trying to figure out an appropriate thing for that. So crowbar is 2 harm, hand messy, so I will say cane is probably just 2 harm hand, and he like strikes you across the face. So you would take 2 harm minus your armor. I don't know if you have any armor. Potentially 1.
I don't think so.
All right. So you would take 2 harm, unmitigated, and then your roll is basically the harm move. If I can find it. Yeah, so harm is you roll plus harm suffered, so you'd roll plus 2. And yeah.
Five.
That's actually rolling low here is good. So on a miss, I can choose one from the list of 7 or and above, but it would be -1 harm. So yeah, I think what happens is you lose grip on the cattle prod and it goes bouncing across the room, but you only take 1 harm. And Toby like pulls down his hood and you see the like Toby Giggles thing going on that he had in the psychic maelstrom. And he's like, now. It's not good to treat your mayor like that now, is it?
Well, it's not good to interrupt a business either.
Interrupt a business. This is my city.
This is my establishment.
Which is in my city.
Well, last time I remember, you died and weren't really the mayor anymore, so I don't know quite how you're in power again. I don't think there was a vote. You know, I was not notified of any voting.
Yeah, you see, you don't really vote on these things. It's not like I'm gonna let a little thing like death stopping me from owning my city. You can see that everybody here loves me as their mayor.
Do they, though?
I haven't heard any complaints.
I wonder why that would be. It wouldn't be perhaps because you're controlling everyone, would it? Or you yourself being controlled? I'm a little confused still, how this little hive mind thing seems to be working.
Well, maybe you can come back to the fold and you'll learn all about it.
I don't think that sounds very fun.
And I think like when he says that too, I think he holds out a hand and like cups your cheek. And
Slapping it away.
Yeah, and like very briefly, like when it barely touches your skin, you feel that like buzzing at the edge of your perception again. That's no way to treat your mayor.
Then
All
was
right,
the right way?
fine. You don't want to come back. Leave. Get out of my city. I didn't want you here anyway.
Well, sounds good to me, I guess. He's giving me the option. I'm gonna go for now.
And he like, yeah, he steps back and is just kind of like gesturing towards the door of your establishment to leave.
I'm gonna walk out, but as I walk by him, I'm gonna have my dagger like pressed against him, and I'm gonna be like, "Don't delude yourself into thinking this is over. I will be back. You might think this is your city, but it's not." But I'm just gonna walk away.
And I think Giggles laughs, and Toby's like, "I died once before. Who's to say it'll stop me again?"
I'm done.
And yeah, you walk out the front door, and once you get out onto the main street, there are people lining the street. It's sort of just like how when Escalade and Spaz came in last session, like trying to lead them towards Toby, it's the same thing with them lining the streets, leading you out of the city.
Making my way back to Amelia.
All right, let's cut over to the aviary. And so yeah, Amelia, you've pretty much finalized the getting everybody ready to leave, and Josh walks up to you and he's like, I've decided I'm gonna go with you.
Are you certain about this?
Yes, I thought about what Lily would do, and this is just as much my family as hers.
I nod a little bit. Lily didn't have family in the box, though. Her decision would have been much easier than yours.
That's true, but this is my decision, and my decision is to go with you all.
Okay. Can I speak to you in private?
Of course.
And I'd step into a side building with him. If something is to happen to me, I'm not going to put the pressure of taking over the flock on you. But would you like that position?
Like I said, this is my family too, and I want to do everything I can to make sure that they are healthy and happy and safe.
Okay. Are you able to post that map in chat? Because I can see it on the screen, but I can't really zoom into it. And I think I'm asking you. Because I want to decide what direction the flock is heading.
Yep. Let me find it. Post it there. There we go.
Thank you. I can actually read it now. So due north is Scarlet's Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm. Kind of northeast, yeah.
I'm gonna start heading southwest.
Okay.
Into, like, I guess the unknown. Would I know what's out in that direction at all? Or have I never went out that far?
Yeah, I think what you see out that direction, you see some, like, large mountains. And I mean, I can't think of a reason why you would have gone out that way.
Probably not. I think Amelia's thought process is, if we go to the mountains, maybe if we can make it over one of the peaks, it'll act as a barrier and possibly shield us from the fallout if we can make it in time.
Mm-hmm.
I know that once we get to the base, we'd have to abandon a lot of our stuff that we can't carry with us. But I think it'd be the best call.
Okay. So you've picked a direction. How are you going to get people out there safely? Or like what measures are you going to take to kind of get people out there safely?
I think at the very at the front of the caravan, probably only 1 to 2 people keeping guard, and one of them primarily, both of them loaded up with guns. One of them primarily keeping watch, the other one keeping eyes on the road ahead. So one looking straight forward, one keeping an eye on everything else. 2 more in the middle, and then I would say a majority of the people to keep an eye out. More of the arms people are in the very back to make sure we don't get rushed from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the strategic layout. Some of our older people and children are actually towards the front to kind of set the pace so that they don't get left behind.
Okay.
And then the younger, stronger people are in the back half of the caravan. In case anybody begins to fall behind, they're able to help them. So it's very much we're moving as a unit, best set up to benefit and support everybody.
Okay. So I think this is probably acting under fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And just quick question, because we didn't do any of the highlights at the start of the session. Do we have anything highlighted, or are we keeping the same things as last session?
I didn't have people highlight because it probably doesn't matter.
Okay. So, acting under fire. And I have a hold 1 from earlier, right?
You have a hold one, so that's for Bonefeel,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically a +1 forward for when you use
For when I
Bonefeel.
use it. Okay,
Yeah.
then it is a 9.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you flinch, hesitate, or stall. The MC can offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. On a must be prepared for worse. So I think, so you're heading southwest, and I think from the north, you see way off in the, or like one of your guards comes to you with like a pair of binoculars and points out off in the distance that you see a large number of what appear to be raiders heading south in your direction. Like you see like a bunch of dust being kicked up, and you see some like motorcycles and a few larger vehicles. And I think the hard bargain is like you could sacrifice some people to distract them for the others to get out. Or you can hang behind, or you could like, you'd have to go a different direction to try not to run into them.
Is it possible? It's not one of the choices. Can I, by myself, approach this caravan? Can I get on one of the horses and head directly towards it to see if I can do a negotiation?
While the others are going to try to...
While the other ones are heading, so I would be the distraction.
Absolutely.
I tell Josh, I will see if I can prevent them. And if I can't, get as many people out of here as you can. I love everybody here, but we're not going to survive if we all stay together if it comes to it.
Josh like looks over north and looks back at you and just kind of nods.
And I'm gonna just kind of nudge my horse and immediately start rearing the other direction, towards the raiders, hoping that they're Scarlets. Probably not.
So yeah, you head north, and you're going a good like 10-15 minutes, and you're kind of like looking back to check, and you see your caravan getting farther and farther away. And at a certain point, you get close enough that you obviously catch the eye of somebody in this raiding party, and the vehicles like stop about 50 yards away, and you see a large man. Like there's a single one big it's like almost like a monster truck. It's kind of the center of this party. Gets out of the vehicle, jumps down on the ground, and walks a little ways towards you.
I would also hop off and just kind of take my horse's leash and have it walk next to me.
It's like, well. Not very often we see someone riding horse out here. What brings you this way, all alone?
And I'm going to speak loud enough for everybody to hear, because I'm going to frenzy them. The tower is falling and is going to crash into the blocks, causing fallout that will kill the aviary, which is where our home was, and we are seeking shelter in the mountains.
So I think you're uncertain how many people other than this guy in front of you can hear you.
So if not, I will just, if I'm uncertain if they'll be able to hear me over the roaring of the trucks and everything, I will say it soft enough for just him to hear. And maybe if he has a right hand next to him.
It is just him.
Okay. And I'm gonna extend my hand. My name is Amelia.
So yeah, you mentioned the silver tower to him, and he runs his hand over his bald head, and he just kind of laughs. It's like, all right, and
Fallout's gonna crush my home, so we're leaving.
And yeah, do you do the hold out your hand, tell him your name thing?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't take your hand, and he's just like, name's Thrash.
Okay. Is there anything, not to make assumptions, raiders, anything I can do to make safe passage?
He's like, oh, wait, hold up here. Raiders, that's such a harsh term.
I'm sorry, I don't.
We like to think ourselves as patrollers of the wastelands.
Patrollers.
Yeah, has a nice ring to it.
It
We heard a
does.
little rumor. There was a caravan moving out in this neck of the woods.
Huh? Obviously. Heard right.
Oh, did we? And where would this caravan be?
Heading towards the mountains, as I mentioned. I'm not going to try and lie and bluff. It's, if you wanted, you have the means to. And she's just being fully honest with him. What did
I
he
think
say they were? Like protectors or
patrollers.
patrollers?
Yeah.
So as patrollers, do you offer escorts? And she's gonna take a step closer to him. And I would like to roll to manipulate him a little bit, with a little bit of sweetness in her voice.
Okay.
Or seduce if you'd prefer. Same roll.
I that is up to you. Whatever you think is like narratively more in line with your character or interesting. But I think ultimately like you're trying to get him to like you're trying to get two things. One, you're trying to get him not to raid your caravan.
I'm seducing my way into some peace.
And then two is like you want him not only not to raid the caravan, but to provide protection.
Yeah, seduce.
All right. Make your roll.
Fantastic. Oh, thank God. So happy.
Uh-huh.
Got an 11 minus 1, so it's a 10.
Okay.
I was so scared because I have like a -1. Scary.
So yeah, you get up real close to him, and I think he like puts a like his big hand kind of like around your back and pulls you in, and he's like, "I just got a cabin in my car. We could go do this right now."
Hmm. Or once we make it to the base of the mountains, under the stars. Why hide?
He's just kind of like, I'm not really the romantic type, but if it's what you want.
She is just gonna kind of place her hand like under his chin. That's what I'd prefer.
All right. Ladies get their way.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts walking back to his car. And I think you notice the like, as he's climbing back into his big monster truck, the like vehicle next to him, there's like a raider on a bicycle, and you see the biggest eye roll as they like, it's like they know exactly, like they couldn't hear it, but they know exactly what the exchange was.
They saw the hand on the back, the hand under the chin. They know what just happened.
Yep.
Just hop back on my horse. And I'm gonna radio me boyo.
Radio Josh.
Yeah.
And Josh has this kind of like, you're bringing them here? Are you sure that's a good idea?
Would you rather them come here anyways and not be against us? I mean, with us? They're coming one way or another.
Fair enough. You definitely have your way with words. I trust your ability. And yeah, you and this like group of raiders on their vehicles are like kicking up a dust storm heading down towards the caravan.
Just let them know that we are being escorted to the mountains by these patrollers, and use those words.
Okay, and I think as like you and the raiders get like close, like you see like kind of like tension and fear through a lot of your people, and the Thrash gets out of his vehicle and starts, slowly walking like towards you and the group. And you see one of the raiders just lets out like a war cry almost, leaps off their motorcycle and starts running towards the group, and like from behind Thrash, and you see Thrash just pulls out a sawed-off shotgun and shoots them. And you see him look back at the group and just like throws up this big like, who's next?
While his hands are like up, I'm still on horseback, and I'm just gonna like set one of my hands on top of his as a comforting. I appreciate that.
And you just hear him kind of mumble under his breath as like, no one fucking betrays an order of mine.
And I'm gonna turn and look back at the flock. They are here to assist us. And then she's gonna shift tones. I want no trouble for our lovely escorts. Understood?
And yeah, your people kind of give a pensive like, you know, nod and kind of some murmurs through the crowd, but they seem to relax a little bit.
And I'm gonna just turn and smile softly at Thrash. Are you hungry?
Nah, I'm fine. About a mile down this range here, there's a pass. It'll get you out of the area. There's a nice little overlook too, if you wanna, you know, under the stars.
I think I'd enjoy that. I'm gonna look at Josh, and point to one of the baskets of fruits and be like, and sign like, "Give me a peach." Because I'm assuming these guys have not had fruit in a long time. I'm assuming there's some scurvy. There's some scurvy in there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely from Thrash. Like any vitamin C in the group has gone to him.
And just kind of like see if he'll like catch me one.
Yeah, he'll toss one towards you.
And I'm gonna grab it and crack it open. And even though he said he's good, I'm going to pass it to him, like half of it to him anyways.
Yeah, he just gives you like a short glance, takes the half, and he takes a big like bite out of it, and just like the juices are like running down his chin. But doesn't even like wipe it away.
Disgusting.
He's a pretty disgusting guy.
And we're gonna continue riding.
All right. So yeah, he gets back in his monster truck. I think we'll jump back to Sir. So Sir. Oh, it's just me. Actually, before we jump back to Sir, just looking at the time real quick, I think we should do our 15-minute break, which I'm sure Dave is hinting at me. So we'll see you back in about 2:10 Central, 3:10 Eastern. I'll see you then.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for yet another XP Guild show. If you are enjoying this, please do us a favor, click like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when our next show goes live. Feel free to drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts on the show, or anything else you want to talk about. I'd like to take a quick moment to say thank you to our friends over at Hero Forge, a Skycastle LLC product. We are not sponsored by them, but if you're looking for great custom miniatures, check out HeroForge.com. They've been so kind to let us use their art, as many of the miniatures and artwork that we use come from their website with their permission. However, they have not reviewed our content, and so what we do does not necessarily represent their views or beliefs. Again, thank you to Hero Forge.
All right, welcome back. Sorry for the slightly extended break, but let's jump right into it. So when we'd left off, Amelia and gang had found a little muscle to help them get out of the area, but Sir decided to go back to the blocks and had a run with Toby. So, Sir, you are now leaving the blocks again. you're heading back to the aviary. Are you just going straight there, or are you going to radio Amelia?
Well, if I see Escalade's car, I'm gonna take that first.
Was Escalade's car just outside, or was it at? Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
because
was.
you came here. Okay, you see Escalade's car.
Cool. If it has the keys in it, I'm gonna steal it.
Did Escalade leave the keys in the car?
Yeah, if you looked around, it would be on the blinder thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
and he's gonna
so-
start driving towards the aviary, and then if no one's there, that's when he's gonna radio Amelia.
Yeah, you make your way to the aviary, and you notice not a soul is around.
Radioing Amelia. Amelia, my love.
Hi. At this point, have when is that little duration? What am I in the middle of doing right now?
So I think this is after your deal with Thrash, as you're traveling that mile down the range to the pass.
So Thrash and I are not currently in the act. All right.
That is
That
not yet.
that's what I was asking. Hi.
Yeah, just quick question. Which direction did you go to? I'm kind of coming your way. I have some disturbing news, I guess, although you kind of already knew.
Yeah. Towards the mountains. We have new friends.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I am currently in Escalade's vehicle.
Ooh, okay. Maybe they won't recognize it. That's fine.
Why would recognizing it be a problem?
Same crowd as Escalade used to be.
Oh. Well, why are you with them?
They are escorting us.
Do they do escort jobs?
They do now.
Okay, well, tell them if they see the vehicle not to shoot, because I am still coming towards you.
I will let them know we have more. A single. Are you by yourself? Are you bringing others?
There's no one to bring.
That's fair. Yeah. All right.
Okay, then I'll just see you soon. Please, don't shoot, attack, whatever.
I will let them know not to. I can't make you any promises.
Well, I think this still has some guns in it, so if they attack, I'm shooting right back at them.
Oh boy. All right. Sounds great.
Okay, see you soon.
Fuck.
And sir, you start making your way out that direction.
Yep.
All right. Let's jump over to Spaz and Escalade. So, Spaz, you just had your little psychic vision showing you where the electricity is heading in this place. And you notice one of the catwalks appears to lead somewhere where there is electricity running to something in a wall.
Yes. And I run after it.
Yep. So you follow this particular catwalk out to the edge of the room. I think at this point, you have the lights on. So yeah, you can see they're in addition to the elevator shaft, which is the 9th catwalk, these other 8 catwalks lead to some look like large double doors on the outer rim of this room. And so the particular catwalk that has this special thing that you saw, you head that way, get to the door, and it appears the doors do not, there's some sort of panel on the side. The doors themselves do not have a knob or handle or anything.
I'm gonna pop the panel.
Okay.
And start monkey wrenching with what's inside.
All right. This acting under fire. Fire is you do something bad.
Okay. Eight.
All right. And 8 is a partial success. So yeah, Fletch state stall, or scout com, etc., etc. You're pretty sure you can get the door open, but you are going to send. Basically, you're going to cause a power surge, which could fry some of the electronics.
Do I know if I could pry the door open manually?
I mean, it's always possible, but you don't know for sure.
Escalade.
Yeah.
Come here. Bring something like stabby and long, like crowbar.
Gotcha. I'll head this way.
All right, so yeah, you see that, Spaz has got this panel open, but the doors are not open.
Well, I do not have a crowbar, but I got a machete, so I'm gonna try to jam that shit in there and try to.
All right, act under fire.
Can I do my thing so I can use my cool?
Acting under fire is cool.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That works. Alrighty. Okay, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, you definitely jimmy the machete through the two doors and are able to use that as leverage to pull them open just enough to squeeze inside.
Yeah.
So is Escalade going in, Spaz going in, or both of you?
Spaz is definitely going in.
Yeah, so Spaz squeezes past you and is already in the room.
Yeah, I'll go after him.
All right. So yeah, you also get in. The Tobias also will follow you in. And yeah, you see that it's like, it looks like some sort of engine. And by your standard Spaz, this is like pretty like kind of normal technology at this point, where it's some sort of like electric engine that powers some sort of shaft that's probably spinning one of the giant propellers that helps keep the station up.
And it's short-circuited?
You chose, or I interpret that as you choosing not to short circuit it.
Yeah, no.
But you didn't get the door open. Yeah.
But I followed it, and it seems to be. Is it working?
Is the engine?
Yeah. Or is it off?
The engine is definitely running at this point. And additionally, in the room where you saw the like sort of static line of electricity, you see some sort of like. It looks like a control panel, pretty similar to what was in the pod and similar to what was on the reactor, like some sort of like digital touch display.
I'm gonna pop it open. And,
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is on.
Oh,
so
okay.
you could also like mess with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna open the thing and.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. But sometimes they have covers, so.
All right. Yeah, you see, it's got a ton of like, similar to, well, actually dissimilar to the craft. There's no like basic controls. It's just a bunch of like complex options, and it seems like a lot of them are like either abbreviations or terms you don't understand. So what is your basic approach here?
Bias.
Yeah.
You know what these mean?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm not really an engineer.
Right. Okay.
You guys are useless.
Just because I don't know engineering doesn't mean I was useless.
All right. You just stand there. And if there's anything that you see that looks familiar, let me know. And
Gosh, I wish Roland was here. He was the one who was like really trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah. Okay. Fun news. Okay, and with that, I'm going to can I read a stitch? I think it is.
I mean, I think this situation is probably pretty clear to you at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think like things speak is one option to figure out how the panel works.
Yeah, that's what I
acting
was
under
thinking
fire is like another option where you're
okay. Gotcha. So I'm gonna use things speak actually. So.
Okay.
So let's see here. Did I get any? Okay. I rolled a 7.
You get one question.
Okay. Okay. I guess. What's wrong with this, and how may I fix it?
So I think the problem with this question is that there's really nothing wrong with the controls. They've got power.
Oh yeah.
Controls work.
Okay, so. I guess instead of that question, I would probably ask. Oh man. What has been done most recently with this or to this?
So I think here you get the impression of the controls as like a prisoner who's been locked in solitary confinement for a very, very long time. And like almost so long that like whoever locked them here have like forgotten they existed. And it's just the sense that like these controls have like possibly haven't even been messed with since they were originally used. And then you get this sort of this feeling of like this prisoner being on the ground and then sort of like learning to fly. And so you kind of learn how the controls were used to lift the tower off the ground.
Okay. So I start doing that.
So you're going to do the op. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say you're going to do the opposite. So you said.
So it's showing me how to lift it up off the ground?
Yeah, you basically have learned how the controls were used to get the tower in the air originally.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna show Escalade. Okay, so the way that worked, this is how we gently lower it. And just kind of go through the reverse of going up means coming down, but gently, so on and so forth. So, and I'm assuming that this is like the controls, sorta, or is there actually piloting involved somewhere else? Do I see a schematic for that? Like, say,
you believe that these are the controls.
Okay. So, this is it, buddy. You got this from me.
I got it. Maybe you should get near one of the ships in case if things don't go well, you can get out of here.
Nah, I'm staying, buddy.
All right.
Because if I get out of here, where the fuck am I gonna go?
Sure. So, what do you want me to roll to land this thing?
And can I help?
All right, so here's what happens, right? Or happened. Spaz, you figured out how the controls are used to get the tower in the air.
Yeah.
You relay this to Escalade, and you're like, Escalade, it's your job to operate these controls based on this information I've told you. But you're gonna help. And how are you helping?
Just telling him the right button to push, whatnot, and basically, yeah, just kind of giving him, tips and whatnot on what to push at the right time. I guess I would assume. I don't know.
And I mean, also maybe like as he's pushing buttons, you have a feel for what the ship is doing and like how it is.
Yeah.
You can kind of give him feedback. All right, so Spaz, I need you to roll plus your hex with Escalade.
Awesome. So I have a +3. Okay. 13.
Damn. All right, Escalade, you
Rolled.
get a +2 to help you
2 5s.
with you operating the controls.
Sweet.
Now, Escalade, given you have such a low cool stat, I'm going to need you to act under fire, and fire here is that you can operate these controls in a way to bring the tower down safely.
Gotcha. I think like in his mind, he just keeps like repeating to himself everything this past told him. And he's just like, don't fuck up. They keep making fun of you. Don't fuck up. Holy fuck. So I just rolled a 12.
You should.
Yeah, I got a 12 out of that.
You roll a 12, you have a +3 to cool, you have a +2 from stats.
Yeah.
You rolled a 17.
Oh, fuck.
Goddamn. Okay, no. Where are you wanting to land the tower?
In that map, I would figure he would try to go north, like, away from everybody. So I would figure the nearest body of water that he can get to, because he's thinking maybe if he can land this thing, it will float.
So they're, the pits are actually built on a very large lake. Like, it looked like it used to be a valley where a city was in, an ancient city. You could easily fit the tower in that lake.
Yeah, let's go for that.
All right. So, with Spaz giving you live updates about what is going on with the ship, you definitely not only just like bring the tower down as best as you can, but you like maneuver it towards this lake next to the blocks. I mean, and like pretty much like a perfect landing. Like you feel the tower like pretty gently hitting not hitting, but like landing in the water. It's like barely a jolt to like, you, Spaz or Tobias. And like Tobias, like all this time is like looking out the windows of this like engine room. And he's just like, holy shit, you did it. And he like runs out of like through the little like crack in the door, and you hear him running out.
I think Escalade for a second is like shocked, and then he's crying, and then he starts laughing.
See, buddy, I told you could do it. Everybody disbelieves that you're like an excellent pilot and shit, but driver,
Yeah.
whatnot. So-
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Like his heart is just like racing, like holy fuck.
Do y'all make your way out of the ship,
Yeah.
or out of like the tower to the loading dock?
Baz kind of looks around. We might
Okay.
need some of this stuff.
I mean, I ain't gonna stop you.
Well, we still have one problem.
Yeah, we need a vehicle to get back home, huh?
Well, no, not necessarily vehicle. Get back home. We need to deal with Mr. Spooky Pants.
True. I mean, I guess I can take you where they have weapons, but I think we took them all before, so...
No, we need electricity. We need to shock the system into, like, releasing and it fleeing back to wherever it came from.
Okay, I have no fucking clue what you're saying, so why don't you do it and I'll just follow you.
We're going back to my shop.
Okay, that's a long ways away, but yeah, let's do that.
And, yeah.
I think since we landed it, I would take out the battery, the most charged one that was on the engines, so we can use that on one of those vehicles we took.
And Spaz starts gathering up important items that he could use.
All right. So Spaz is sticking around in the ship. Escalade, what are you up to?
He'll get the vehicle ready to for us to get the fuck out of here.
So you make your way back to the landing bay, and you see, like at this point, you see boats from the pits. You recognize most of them are like salvage boats that were used to for like divers to go down into this ancient city and like scavenge old stuff. And one of the boats has the professor.
Oh shit! I'm gonna wave him down like, Professor, this way.
And he's like, "Oh, Escalade. I'm not sure why I didn't expect you to be here. I would have expected Spaz to be with you.
He's here.
It would be
He'll
you
be
two
down.
who would get this tower down. I'm glad the tower is on the ground in one piece. The alternative would have been far worse."
I'll leave this up to you, but there's a lot of silver ones here that are dying. They haven't eaten in days, so it's up to you if you want to help them or not. I'm not gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, you look over. Yeah, you see like there are some silvered ones already on some of the other boats, and you see you see the one woman, and a few of the others are like passed out on the landing bay.
Well, hopefully they can help them.
I hope so. It appears they have not had water or food in a while. It's lucky they survived it all.
I came here before with Amelia, and it seemed that they didn't know how to use their own technology. They had robot servants that were taking care of them, so they didn't know how to take care of themselves.
Perhaps they advanced too far for their own good and let their hubris get the best of them.
Something like that. Hey, Professor, do you happen to have a fast vehicle that we could use?
I have a personal car and a boat. That's about it.
Can I borrow the personal car? We need to go find some people in the blocks.
Will I be getting it back?
That's the whole point of borrowing, isn't it?
I guess so.
Poor guy. You fucked up.
Sure. And he's like reaching, you're like patting his lab coat, and he finds his keys and hands them to you. And he's like, I didn't mean to doubt you bringing my car back. It's just I've heard strange things out of the blocks lately.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I would do the same if I was in your shoes. No offense taken.
All right. Do you need a trip across the water?
Yeah, we will take a ride. And I'll start yelling, Spaz, hurry up.
I'm coming! I just gotta... And you hear a loud noise. And eventually Spaz comes running with a pile of stuff. Hey, Professor!
How did you climb up the shaft with that arm full of stuff?
I just did.
You bone field. So Spaz comes out of this elevator shaft. The professor doesn't realize, doesn't quite put one and one together, at least not immediately. But yeah, Escalade, you're like, wait a second. Your hands are so full of stuff. You're dropping stuff that you can't carry it at all. And the professor just kind of raises an eyebrow and leads you to the boat.
Professor?
Yes, Spaz?
We have a situation.
What is that?
You remember that stuff I was telling you about the little machines?
The nanites and the brain psychic stuff?
Yeah, I think I let them out. And apparently, Toby is back alive.
And I think without missing a beat, the professor's like, oh, you're wearing a diaper and a unicorn helmet, Spaz.
Oh, yeah. We had some stuff go on. So, I'm better now.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
It's not what you think.
But yeah, we're gonna try to kill Toby and free the people.
I see.
Because apparently they're all now possessed by the little robots. You're not possessed by the little robots, are you?
I don't think so. Wait, did you say Toby?
Yeah.
Toby's dead.
No, he's not.
He raises an eyebrow again. I see we have much to discuss.
Yes, most definitely. Let's discuss everything and our plan of action of how we're going to free the people.
All right. And the professor leads y'all onto the boat. All right. We have about 5 minutes left. Our merry band of psychotic adventurers has successfully landed the tower, saving... maybe not the world, but the region. And Amelia has successfully led her people out of the area through the pass. Sir has, at least successfully caught back up with Amelia. So I think what we want to do here as the last session to have each player give a little epilogue for what has happened to their characters after the events of this series. So, Dave, go ahead and bring everybody back on board, or unless we could have each player...
We can.
They're one face by themselves. I don't care either way.
Who would you like first?
Let's go with Sir. What has happened with Sir in the subsequent months? Or whatever period of time?
I reckon he'd been staying with Amelia, but if Spaz or anyone radioed and he heard they were going to try and fight Toby, or if he radioed them and they were fine, he'd end up going with Spaz and Escalade to try and help get rid of Toby if they had a plan.
All right. So Sir heads back. What about Spaz?
Spaz plans with the professor a strategy to equip everyone with high voltage electrode shockers, essentially. And
are these self shockers or for shocking other people?
shocking other people.
Okay.
And enough voltage basically to get the bugs out, aka the nanites. And ultimately either when we attack Toby / Giggles, either bring him down, strap him down, and electrocute him, or have him dragged back to my shop where I can hook him up to the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then electrocute him. Either way, Toby / Giggles is getting electrocuted hardcore. So,
all right. And Escalade.
I think after Spaz comes up with that plan, he would have went back in hopes that he would find the raiders. And hopefully he finds them, and then he would try to shock some people and get, once they come to their senses, to help them storm the castle, grab Toby, and then Spaz can do some mad science on him.
All right. And finally, Amelia.
Amelia and her flock ended up in the mountains. I think they received a radio message that the city was saved. She had her night with Thrash, and ultimately sat down with Josh and said, "We came all this way. Do we really need to go back?" And I think they ultimately decided to stay in the mountains, maybe finding a stream in between some valleys, and start a new crop and start forging a new home, putting up some walls, while keeping in contact with her new raider friend. Maybe working out some sort of arrangement.
Awesome. And yeah, I think ultimately the Sir Escalade Spaz plus Scarlet and her gang, and I think even at a certain point Thrash and his gang, with the help of Amelia, join up, and y'all retake the blocks and make your way back to Toby's mansion for the second time. And when you get to him and shock him, he has long since stopped being human, and it turns out he was a swarm of nanomachines that this sort of like black sandy sort of sandy liquidy stuff like fries away, dissipates. The end.
Yay! Thank y'all watchers for participating and enjoying our lovely mini-series. Thanks to our wonderful game master for making this all happen, aka Maury, aka Master of Ceremonies, aka Oh God Bees.
Oh God Bees! Yes.
And I want to thank all of our players for making it happen. So we don't normally do this in this game, but since it is our very last game, let's go around the room, and I will announce a character, and they can say their feelings about this mini-series and their characters and all the insanity that has happened. And they can say something about themselves and anything else they'd like to plug, and then they will say another character and go around the room. Let us start out with Spaz's homie, Spaz's bro, his bud at arms, Escalade.
Hey everybody, my name's Jose, known as Shadow Soldier PR in Twitch. Definitely a lot of fun. It was definitely a pretty emotional game with all that betrayal and all the crazy shit happening. It was A lot of fun. Thank you. And I guess I'll pass it to Sir.
Up, I'm Destiny. I play Sir. It was my first time playing Apocalypse World, and it was pretty interesting and fun. So I think I might want to play it again in the future. And it was definitely a fun trip and journey. Definitely took some turns I was not expecting, but overall it was really great. And I shall pass it to our lovely Amelia.
I played Amelia Roskam, and this was my very first time playing Apocalypse and actually joining the guild. So I had never previously met anybody in this group. And it was a really fun experience, so I want to say thank you for that. And if you want to find me, I'm Tentacle Kitten on Instagram or Namora1974 on Twitch, and I might be budding that channel soon.
And I am. Oh.
Yes, it is Spaz.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I played Spaz. Spaz actually is a creation I created in another role-playing game. And he was just insane and just weird altogether. And he had weird powers. So I was like, I don't see why not. He could gotten high off some kind of drug, fell asleep in the trunk of a car, woken up, came out of the trunk, and realized he's in a different universe and whatnot, and just went, shit happens. And just went about his way. So yeah, be prepared, watchers. You may see Spaz within the future, but who knows? But anyway, thank you so much. And before we jump to our lovely Master of Ceremonies, just wanted to let you know that tomorrow's we have 2 back-to-back games coming up. They are D&D. And but run by 2 more of our lovely DMs. I am not running a single one of them. I am just playing. Woot! But yes, our next actual game that I will be running will be a Seabound Journey, which 2 of these players, Sir, aka Destiny, and Amelia, aka Stephanie, is going to be in, or is in for the most part. But anyway, so thank you so much for all that, and make sure to like, subscribe, push all the lovely buttons below, and find out more as we continue. Anyway, let's turn it over to Master of Ceremonies, and then before we go, I have one more thing to say.
Hey everyone, I am Maury, aka Oh God Bees. And I wanted to give an extra special thanks to Dave, who is a good friend of mine, who crazily I've known for more than 2 decades, which is wild to think about. But if you're a watcher, it may not be obvious, but he has put a ton of work into the series, like all the graphics, the music, running the game and making sure like who pops up when is all good. Most of these little Hero Forge creations for the NPCs were him, so like he has gone above and beyond to make this like very, very special miniseries, and I'm very grateful for that, especially because it's way more work than I would probably ever do. So thank you, Dave, so much for that. And thank you to everyone else for having this be just like a really, really fun game. It's definitely one of those things where every week I find myself looking forward to the next session, because I'm just like, I want to know what wild and crazy things their players or the PCs are going to do, what they're going to come up with. And this like style of game is something I really enjoy, because it's not me trying to come up with everything to have them run through. It's really the players coming up with stuff, and I'm just kind of reacting. So it's been a great time. And I'll pass it back to Dave.
Yeah, and speaking of a great time, I bet you're wondering, what the world am I going to do on Sunday since this is over with? Well, guess what, watchers? We have a lot planned ahead. There may be a series of one-shots coming up on your Sundays, but guess what? AKA Masters of Ceremonies, Maury, AKA Oh God Bees, is going to be back. She has planned for at least 2 different types of games. We don't know exactly which one will be first. One is Monster Hearts, and the other one is the Sprawl, right?
The Sprawl, yeah.
The Sprawl, yeah. So, but if you like, subscribe, follow us, and do all the other stuff, we will have that in there. So stay tuned within the future. So I guess this is that wonderful, wonderful time that I like to say on the other streams that we should say so long, farewell, and thanks for watching, watchers. AKA, bye!
Bye.
Bye.